No.
How do you feel right now?
Well, I feel extremely excited. Obviously, I mean it's about to enter into what must be the most exciting 3 days of my life, and we're only a few hours away from takeoff.
How do you and Per feel right now, and how do you think this affects aviation as a whole? I mean, well, we had Jeannie Yeager and Dick Rutan perform a feat that just wowed the American public and the world, for that matter, and here you are with a Virgin Flyer. How do you think it stacks up to that, and what do you think this means to aviation as well?
Well, I think that it's important that mankind sort of tries to push the barriers forward, and what we're attempting today is something which hasn't been attempted before. A hot air balloon has never been more than 800 miles, and we're planning to go about 4,000 miles. So if successful, we would have overcome the technological problems. The balloon itself will be about 30 times larger than any balloon that's ever been built before. And we've made it in such a way that it will absorb the sun's rays and keep us afloat in the daytime. We'll be flying very high. We'll be flying about 28,000 feet, which means we'll be going through extreme temperature changes, both personally and the equipment itself. So sort of minus 60 degrees at night time, and then very hot in the daytime. So it's in a sense a test of ourselves, and as well as a test of the equipment that we've built, we've brought along for the job.
What thoughts are going through your mind right now?
Just amazing.
Well, my biggest headache and worry was actually being able to inflate that, because it is a 2.5 million cubic feet balloon, and it's up and it's standing there. If they can inflate it, we can fly it.
How confident do you feel right now?
Very.
Is it bigger than you thought it was going to be, Richard?
Big bugger.
Well, I'm just trying to look out there. It looks, I can't see the top, but it looks magnificent, doesn't it?
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Come on, everybody, move back!
Air tanks, and the intention was to pull the quick releases and to jettison the sand ballast, obviously leave the tanks intact, and for the balloon to climb away. Unfortunately, one of the ropes snagged on the fuel tank, and the fuel tank itself separated from the gondola. Now, and it fell to the ground. The piece of rope was on very short, so it couldn't have fallen any further than it did in fact fall. That was the maximum distance it could fall. The tank's stainless steel, there was no chance of it rupturing at all. So there's no hazard to anybody standing around.
Do they have enough fuel to make it now?
Well, it's an interesting question, because one of the things we were debating before they took off was the flight profile they went for. And if you remember at the briefing, I said they'll probably stay fairly low because all the winds go in the same direction. And then they'll climb up. And what they would have been doing was using the fuel in the early stage and then climbing up. And what I suspect they'll do now that they're light on fuel is they'll go higher earlier, and it won't make any difference to their endurance at all in distance.
So it doesn't jeopardize the flight at all?
I don't think it jeopardizes it at all.